Hello, welcome back to another video. Thanks, Knight. Welcome back to another video. It's Bear here. We're gonna be doing a kart part glider tier list for Mario Kart Deluxe before the Booster Course DLC. So if the Booster Course DLC brings in new karts, new wheels, new gliders, this won't matter. But we'll do another video if that happens. But for now, we're gonna look at obviously what is the best in terms of the mechanics of the game, what the game tells you and what the game doesn't tell you. So obviously this is standard kart. I have Roy. Roy's my favorite character. When you're selecting a kart or a bike, remember you do press plus. Obviously I'm using a game controller, but it's plus or whatever on any other controller. I'll let you know the stats that they tell you. They only they only tell you the stats for speed, acceleration, weight, handling, and traction. They don't tell you key stats, what makes a kart really good, which is the mini turbo, which is extremely important for many of these karts and bikes, and also the speed it goes in the air, in anti-gravity, in the water, which is different. Everything runs a little bit differently, and the tires can affect you as well. Also, chat, you're more welcome to give tips as well. I'll leave that up so people can also read that. We're actually gonna be first kind of looking in I have everything unlocked here, so keep in mind if you want to unlock everything, you need to collect 10 coins, and then you have to go into the menu and unlock something. It unlocks a random thing. Kind of sucks, but in general, like the best way to do it honestly is 200cc Baby Park. And you just keep doing it there, like a versus race, or you can do like a Grand Prix with friends. But 200cc Baby Park for me has been the most easiest way to do it, in a versus mode to collect coins. So we're gonna actually get to the actual kart tier list and bike tier list. I'm gonna actually show you the guide that I made, which I'll link in the description below, so you can see that. That is not that one. That's the tier list. Don't look at that. You didn't see that. Yes, that is the guide. Okay, so this is the guide. I'll link it below. We'll actually have the pictures for this. It goes. I rank everything from S down to D, and then S down to D for tires, and then gliders as well. But gliders aren't as significant as your kart and your wheels. So when it comes down to these specific ones, I'll get into that. But I also want to notate it's really important for you to get the to have this site. I'll link this as well. This is the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Builder. This is going to tell you the secret stats that the game does not tell you. So remember how we notated before here that the game only tells you this following information, right? It only tells you the speed, acceleration, weight, handling, traction. But when you go to the Mario Kart Builder, I actually don't know who made this, so whoever made this, like, dude, thank you so much. It actually notates here, you scroll down to these builds, it'll let you know the handling in the ground, in the water, in the air, anti-gravity, the speed in the ground, in the water, in the air, and anti-gravity. And really important is your mini turbo. So technically, you made this? Did you actually make this? No, Tobias Matson made this. Yo, shout out to Tobias Matson. I don't know if you're Tobias Matson, but shout out to that person. But so, like, really important here. So, for example, let's look at standard kart. Let's just compare what you get the game does, standard kart, and let's compare it to the pipe frames. So, as you can see, standard kart is just literally doesn't do anything for you. Doesn't add anything. The pipe frames itself adds acceleration and adds extra handling, in the water and in anti-gravity, but not in the air. But it also adds mini turbo and extra grip. So that's super important to know. When it comes to like the actual S tier builds up here, we're actually going to go through that real quick when I show you this graph here. So when it comes to the best karts in the game, most people can agree that Wiggler is at the top, and it's mostly because of the combination of mini turbo and also handling and speed. And what's a lot of people forget to mention is that the standard bike and the Wiggler are the same. Same as normally moves. Okay. This Wiggler and standard bike are the same exact stats. So if you don't like the look of the Wiggler and you want to play at that really top tier build of kart, you just use standard bike. It operates the same. It has the same stats. Honestly, I'm actually might switch to standard bike for the rest of this stream later on, just so I can practice it. But it's actually it's a lot. I like the look of the standard bike. And Knight is correct. Wiggler does have a bigger hitbox, so you can actually get hit easier in the Wiggler, but you can also screen items easier with the Wiggler. So that is something to note as well. And then and going on to the rest of the S tier area for the carts, it goes. I didn't do plus or minus in S tiers because I feel like they can all operate under the same conditions. They can all win you races, and they're all equally good as they are. The mini turbo for Mr. Scooty, so Mr. Scooty and Bitty Buggy are next in the S tier. They're also the same exact stats. The only difference is in Bitty Buggy is a little bigger hitbox, so you can get hit easier. But they're the same exact thing. So if you like, I use Mr. Scooty, but I'm gonna try to play around with standard bike later today. But remember, Mr. Scooty and Bitty Buggy are the same thing. And then when it comes to if you are used to inward drifting or inside drifting, whatever, it's sort of similar to what Mario Kart Wii was. There are two options in the S tier for you to use. Those are the Comet bike and the Yoshi bike. Sorry, the Yoshi bike is blocked by the tier maker website, but those are the two that have the same stats. They have a really tight way of drifting, but you can actually see them over here. We'll pull them up in the actual game real quick so you can see that. So the standard bike, it looks like, the Yoshi bike looks like this. Obviously, I'm not using the correct tires, but that's what the Yoshi bike looks like with Roy. And Comet looks like this one. No, this one. This one looks like Comet. Honestly, it's your preference what you want. If I rode a inside or inward drift bike, I honestly would probably use Comet. I think Yoshi bike looks ugly. If you like Yoshi, it's cool, right? But I don't know. I just don't like the way the Yoshi bike looks. It's so ugly. But I like the Comet more just because also I think it's more. It just resembles me for the Wii aesthetic. Okay, and then so that's S tier. They're all good in their own way. We can actually even look into the more like specific differences in the S tiers. So let's actually do that real quick. So we're gonna go to our trusty Mario Kart builder here. So let's go for build 1. Let's go for a Wiggler, which is what most people you'll see have. And then as for build 2, let's go for the let's say Mr. Scooty, and then we're gonna say for build 3, we're gonna go with the inside drift. We'll say Comet. So so out of these 3, as you can see, they all have a pretty decent stats. Mr. Scooty has the most acceleration. So if you end up racing a lot and you have a hard time and you get hit a lot, Mr. Scooty and Bitty Buggies are great things to reuse, especially but if you're someone that is that can actually get farther ahead and really do well and like be front in the pack, Wiggler, standard bike, and Comet and Yoshi bike are great things to have if you just want to be someone that just kind of zooms forward. So it's just your preference of driving. But I just want to show that. Now we can actually show like what the builds look when it comes to the other S tier stuff, but I don't want to show that just yet because I do want to talk about the rest of the tier list. So when it comes down to A tier here, you have Streetle, you have the Bowser's ship, whatever the warship. I believe this is the Inkling ATV thing, pipe frames. The Flame Rider, the City Tripper. I forget what this bike is called. Let me double check this bike. It's like it's a weird sounding bike here. The Varmint. It's called Varmint. Yeah, it's the Varmint, and then obviously the Cat Cruiser. Those are like pretty solid A. They're not like the best carts in the world. They have pretty decent stats for certain things. The Streetle has the best stats for underwater. So if you're someone that just got the game and you don't like standard bike, because that's where you get base, you can use the Streetle. Streetle's also fine. I think a Streetle is a great one to start with. It's like when you first start this game, standard bike and Streetle are great first choice options. And it's a solid A, so you can drive pretty well there. When it comes down to B tier, most of these B tier cards, I'm not gonna name them all. A lot of them are not optimal. They have less best skills than others. Just one note for this one, the Mach, I believe it's called Mach 8. Let me double check. Yeah, this is the Mach 8. This one's only really good if you are doing time trials for specific courses. You'll notice some of the top 10 people in the world will use Mach 8 because of the speed stats. But aside from that, everything else is kind of mediocre above that. And when it comes to C, honestly, C is just like, this is more aesthetics. They're not really that great. It's really sad that the high roll bike looks so freaking cool. Like here, we're gonna look at the high roll bike. This bike, look, they really did the high roll bikes dirty, because they look absolutely phenomenal, but like they just have really bad stats in comparison to everything else. Look, where is it? Yeah, like look at this Master Cycle. It looks so pretty. It looks gorgeous. Awesome. Look at the big old horsey. Yeah, bad stats. Don't use it. Like, and this one looks okay. Like, I'm sure you've played this in the Master Cycle Zero on like in Breath of the Wild, but they're not great options. So sadly, they're not really good if you're trying to go forward. You'll struggle a lot. But when it comes down to D tier, these are the worst carts in the game, just because they have overall bad stats. Their handling is pretty poor. The acceleration is bad. Mini turbo is really poor. The worst cart in the game, sadly, is the Mercedes GLA, and the Badwagon are really bad. They're just abysmal. If you wanna challenge, play one of those vehicles with like slick tires, which is why we're gonna go to our next iteration of our tier list, which is tires. Tires are actually, or wheels or tires are the most important thing when it comes to your build. You can have the worst cart and the worst bike, but if you have the best wheels, like a roller or a Azul roller, you can actually drive fine. It's really weird, but like the carts don't do that much damage to you, but your wheels will do a lot of damage, because it really just affects how you operate, how you go, your acceleration, mini turbo, your handling. But when it comes down to it, you already have the roller unlocked. Use that. It's great. I use the roller because I just like the red. I don't like blue. A lot of people use those Azul rollers because they unlock it and it's technically, I believe it's a Phillips instead of a flathead screw. That's the only difference between them. But these two are by far the best in the game. They have the best mini turbo. They have the best acceleration. They have the best handling. It's just OP. Like, if you don't use these tires, you're weird. I don't know why you don't use them. And the reason why that the leaf tire, and then I believe this is the button tire. Let me double check and make sure that's the case. Yeah, the reason why the leaf tire and the button tire are A tier is because they have pretty decent stats for mini turbo and handling and everything else. But one cool thing about the leaf tire itself is that it has better speed on anti-gravity. So we can actually show that real quick. We'll go back to our builder here, and we're gonna let's do a build of like what would I use. So let's go with Roy. Let's say he's gonna go be on a standard bike, and let's say let's put roller wheels, and let's put cloud glider. That's my first build. Let's do second build. Let's do the standard bike. Let's do leaf tires instead, and then cloud gliders here. Now, let's just look at the difference real quick and why leaf tires maybe a fun addition. Some people use them. It just depends on their track picks. But as you can see here, in comparison to it, the roller tires has much better mini turbo, but not that much, but enough. The grip is better for the roller tires. The difference is here when it comes down to the handling. As you can see, the leaf tires have great handling and anti-gravity, but it kind of subpar in the water. But the roller tires just has better overall stats handling wise here. When it comes to acceleration, roller has better acceleration because, as I told you, when it comes to rollers, they're just so good. You just use them and you'll be fine. They have the same weight. But when the key difference is actually in the speed here. So as you can see, you're a little bit faster with the leaf tires, and you're a lot faster in the leaf tires in anti-gravity. And that's the key difference. So if you are racing in courses that have a lot of anti-gravity, the leaf tires might actually be a really good benefit for you. Now, when it comes to the DLC that's coming soon, the Booster Course DLC, if a lot of them have like anti-gravity sections or majority of it, the meta might actually involve where those specific courses it's just you pick leaf tires because you're just gonna have a lot better speed when it comes to anti-gravity specifically, just how much faster you go. So that's just something to notate when it comes down to the leaf tires difference between roller tires. But yeah, that's why they're there. I believe sponge tires, we can go to that. If you have a question like why the hell that's the case, let's actually just do that real quick so you can see how that looks. So we'll go again, Roy. Let's do standard bike. Where's my standard bike? Standard bike. Let's do this button tires, and then here. As you can see, it's pretty much the same as leaf tires. I knew I was correct there. Yeah, they're the same. They're just the leaf tires just look faster to me because they're green. I know that's stupid, but that's how I feel. Like the leaf tires are just, oh, it's faster because it's green, right? Yeah, green goes fast. But that's why button and leaf are the same. Okay, and then when it comes down to these, I could go through every one on the B tier, but it's just why is regular oil higher than it? So it's the same. It's the same Lake and Whale. They're not higher, so these aren't ordered. These aren't ordered either. None of my tiers are ordered, except just because they're all viable in the same thing. But these two are actually the same thing. So these two are the same. These two are the same. Yeah, these two are the same, and these two are the same. Leaf tires and button, and then the rollers. They're both the same thing. So they're no difference. When it comes to the B tier for wheels, I could get through the normal tires, the whatever, but they just don't provide the stats that you need. They're really they're lacking in mini turbo, lacking handling, lacking in speeders. It's just not worth it. It's not worth your time. Just don't use it unless you don't have but you have a roller tire, so just use rollers. Like there's like no reason for you not to use roller tires, or leaf tires if you like the look of the leaf tires, or even button. But buttons just kind of look a little awkward. C tires, sadly the gold wheels suck. The gold tires are crap. These are really out of all the C tiers, the monster and the big ribbon ones. I think they're called ribbon. Let me make sure that they're called ribbon. Yeah, cushion. Yeah, those are really hard. They make your cart super big, and you kind of tilt, like feels like you're falling off. You're just using them for fun if you're using them. And then it comes down to these tires. These tires are just absolute trash. Like really rough. They have speed, but their mini turbo is just really bad. The handling is just horrible. Traction is just abysmal. It's just not worth running those as well. Like when it comes down to it, honestly, there's no reason for you not to run a roller tire, leaf tire, or button tire at that point. Yeah, slick is really bad. It's not worth it. If you're doing time trials, it might be okay, but when it comes to normal racing, it's just not worth it. Now we'll get to gliders. So gliders aren't actually that much like important. As you can see, I put only S and A tier. That's really what it is. Like when it comes down to it, like there's no reason for you to ever use the normal glider. It's not good. We'll get to the secret stats that they have because one of them actually provides mini turbo, which is why I put paper glider, cloud glider, and I believe it's called parachute. Yeah, parachute and flower glider up in S because they all have the same stats. I put Paracel up in S. Peach's Paracel. I'll show you why. It has like a little bit different stats, but most of those are all the same. You can use any of those first four, and you have the best glider in the game. Or you can use Peach's Parasol, but honestly, it kind of obstructs your view when you're gliding, so it's whatever. But we're actually going to get into our secret stats thing real quick, and I'll show you why. So let's get into that. So let's get into this build I have here before. Let's make this all the same build. Let's make sure they're all roller, standard bike, roller, standard bike. Okay. All right. So let's make them all what I said before. It was like, are they all the same? Yeah. So I run Cloud Glider. I just like the look of Cloud Gliders. Some people run paper. As you can see, same exact thing. There is no difference between the Cloud Glider and the paper glider. It doesn't change anything here. And then when I mentioned flowers the same, yep, same thing. Doesn't make any difference. And also parachute, same thing. So that's why they're all the same tier when it came to that area, just because they provide you the best mini turbo, the best and the best kind of handling here. So we're gonna actually show the difference between Peach Parasol and everything else in just a second here. So let's just do let's do Peach Parasol here. As you can see, and then let's also do on this one, let's just do Super Glider so you can see this is what the base is, right? So let's compare the difference here. Let me zoom in a little bit. So as you can see at this point, this is what most people will run. They'll run like a Wiggler, or a standard bike, a roller, and a Cloud Glider, or paper glider. So these are the stats that that most people will find optimal. So let's look in comparison to for like a normal Super Glider. So as you can see here, when it comes to the speed, the anti-gravity speed for cloud gliders a little bit faster. Super glider is a little bit faster for air, but it's not really that worth it, because when it comes down to it, your mini turbo is the most important thing here, because your mini turbo and also handling. As you can see, handling was bumped up a bit here, and acceleration was just a lot better. So those are really your two key things when it comes to building, is your mini turbo and your acceleration. Because if you're a good driver, you can get your mini turbos, your super mini turbos, and ultra mini turbos, and those make a difference in your races. Now let's compare this to the Peach Parasol. As you can see, the Peach Parasol, it is basically the same when it comes to a few things in speed, but it is a little bit slower when it comes to the air in the sky, so that's something to notate. When it comes to acceleration, it's the same as the Cloud Glider, which is nice, although when it comes to, I believe, weight, it makes you a little bit heavier, so if you want to be a little bit heavier, it is something to consider. And then when it comes to handling, it actually has a little worse handling, so that is something you have to also notate as well. But the mini turbo is up there as, in addition, so I keep it as it's like a low S, a high A, so it really is up to you. But yeah, that's most of that's it. I mean, like, that's my tier list. Like, I don't have anything else to really add to that. Like, hopefully it's helpful. I'll link this in the description. It is in the Mario Kart guide I'll have and the MK builder thing that we saw, the secret stats thing, I'll link that as well. That's actually in the Mario Kart guide up here. I link it up here so you can do the Deluxe builder. But yeah, these are in the guide. You can always refer back to it. But hopefully that's helpful to you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask on the YouTube video, or you can always add me on Twitter or come into Twitch streams. But all right. Hopefully that was helpful. Thanks again for tuning in for that short little kart, bike, wheel, tires, glider tier list video. If there's any additional changes in the booster course DLC, we will see you again and make some adjustments. All right, thank you. You have a good day, YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment, say nice things, or don't. Why don't you say hi?